Hello and welcome back to Cars of Glasgow. I'm Thomas and you join me for this, the new revised Genesis GV70 electrified, a premium 2-row 5-seat SUV designed to compete with things like the Porsche Macan EV and Audi Q6 e-tron. In this video I'm going to give you a walk around tour of the car, show you its interior and then get out on the road for a test drive. So stay tuned for this video. The GV70 electrified comes in 3 trim levels. You get pure, dynamic and this one, the luxury. Prices start around £65,000 and go all the way up to about £80,000 for a well-equipped one. Now you're going to notice this is a facelift because we've got this grille that's kind of darkened chrome over the outgoing model, the new Genesis logo up front. We still have the integrated heated charging cable in there, which does have your AC/DC charging for the fast CCS charging, which is handy. The car is built on an 800 volt architecture and all UK models do come fitted with a heat pump as standard. Now there are a few colour options available to you depending on which trim level you go for. This one is finished in a rather attractive series blue metallic paint. It's around £810 as an option. If you go for the luxury trim you can get the option to even buy a matte finish, which is about an extra £1,000 or so. Base colour is a white and you can get that on all the trim levels. Most of the colours are whites, greys, blacks, silvers, etc. I think there's like 2 blues I could see in the configurator and then that special matte paint on the luxury trim. Now up front you can see it's not too much has changed over the outgoing Genesis GV70 model. We do have a new design for the internals of the headlight, however the exterior, the overall look is pretty much the same with that split headlight design. That is mirrored on the rear when we get around to the rear of the car. But yeah, I think it looks quite handsome. Some people have came up to me so far in the week I've had this car saying, is that a Bentley? I think it must be the big grille or the winged emblems, but that can't be a bad thing if you're wanting an electric Bentley. This could be the car for you. Now let's check out what's under the bonnet. Pull this little lever under here. Got gas struts, which is welcomed at a car at this price point. We do have very little storage in here, I was surprised. We do have about 25 litres of boot space, or front foot space, or frunk if you're in America. It is split into a couple of portions, so you can maybe put like a notepad, maybe the small charging cables there, but really it's ideal for very flat, thin objects. I was expecting it to be a little bit more because there's not too much underneath here, but yeah, I know you can get a petrol and a diesel version of this car. I was just hoping there would be a little bit more of a frunk in this electric version of the Genesis. However, there's not too much else to see. Your screen washers at the top left, a couple of fluids here, and then your battery up there. You do have sound deadening material, which I presume is just going to be a carryover from the combustion versions of the car. But yeah, not too much else to see under here. It's rather Lexus looking with all the plastic coverings and things like that. All models, bar the entry level, get this 20-inch alloy wheel design. This is the sole option here in the UK, a 2-tone graphite aero blade wheel. They are riding on Michelin's Pilot Sport wheels, which are 265/45 R20s if you're curious. This is the first time I've seen a press car with white brake calipers. You can comment your thoughts on them below, but yeah, it adds a little bit of something to the front end of the vehicle. If voluptuous curves are the kind of thing that you're after in your SUV, this is the car for you. Now just check out that shoulder line from the front end where it's sharp, how it creases all the way and smooths out into the rear taillights. The rear end of this car has kind of got a touch of a coupified styling to it. It's very smooth and round, and the aesthetics of that are kind of contrasted with the kind of sharp lines going across on the chrome trim below, as well as those split taillights that you see mirroring up front on those headlights. Now we do have a camera up here. This is not your reverse camera but your digital rear view mirror camera. We have a button here to open your tailgate. Obviously being electric, we do not have any tailpipes exposing or anything like that. Parking sensors and your cameras built into the tailgate there, just above the registration would be. And inside we have 503 litres of boot space. It is quite shallow, there is no secret storage underneath, however there is storage underneath for the parcel shelf to go under. I do like that fact, so you can lift that up, slide that in, and you don't have to leave that in the garage. That's quite a handy feature, but overall it's lined with the fuzzy stuff, which is nice. It's got 60/40 split seats and there's room for things like your charging cables. This car came with a 3-pin charging socket, which I'm most grateful for. It means I can top it up at home in my own garage. This car is fitted with several packs, so one of those packs allows you a vehicle to load outlet, so this means in the rear you can plug in a 3-pin socket, which can be a domestic device, and maybe a laptop, something like that, can be charged up in the boot back here. And we do have handy levers to pull the seats down that you want. So I'll have a quick exactly, there we go. And with the seats folded down, we have 1678 litres of boot space at your disposal. All into the fuzzy stuff on the floor, and then obviously you've got the nice leather on the interior, so make sure you're not putting anything sharp. It's going to smash that interior up because it's rather beautiful inside. You join me in the back of the GV70. Now I have plenty of footroom, which is always a plus on an electric car. I can get my feet underneath the driver's seat. The middle floor is not too much of a transmission hump, so you could get free at a push, but this is going to be designed for sport and comfort. All the materials back here are rather plush, and this one's finished with a icy blue grayscale white interior, which just feels so calming and zen in here. We do have like the Milky Way Galaxy style ambient lighting on the door cards, blinds in the rear for the passengers, that Bang & Olufsen sound system continuing to the back, mechanical door release, a little bit of a door bin, which isn't always welcomed, and then we've got maps. And pull this down, we do have two cup holders with a bit of silver trim around. It's not just black plastic in there. They have thought of that. This luxury model, of course, the seats are heated in the rear. We do have a little bit of a recline as well, which reminds me of that Kia Sportage we recently drove. You could pull that lever, give yourself a little bit more recline if you want to relax on a journey. Big panoramic roof, so I'm rather impressed with back here space. Sedan 5'11", headroom, shoulder room, knee room, all right. These seats have got that easy access turned on, so that's why they're both really far back, but once you're driving, they do slide forward, so you get even more knee room if you require it. So it's definitely a thumbs up back here if you've got teenagers, young adults, whatever it may be, they can fit not too bad. And if you happen to be chauffeuring, you can control the passenger seat using the little button on the side of that seat there to give that all the way forward, to give that almost like first class style leg room back there. You join me up front in the rather beautiful Genesis GV70 electrified. This is the luxury trim, so you'd expect all the bells and whistles in the nice interior. This one's finished in icy blue with grayscale white, with the upgraded Napa leather interior, which you can tell because it's got the quilting on the centre there. So you've got that crisscross blue stitching going across, or icy blue as they want to call it. Car's also fitted with a package that allows you to have the kind of bolsters underneath your legs extend out, so again it gives you more of that airplane style seat, super comfortable and lovely, as well as that easy entry and exit system for both the passenger and driver. You don't often see it for the passenger, but this car does have it. Now the dash is a slightly different colour shade from the door cards. They're both blue, but one in the dash is slightly lighter colour. It's the only thing that threw me off a little bit, because the heads-up display surround is closer to the door card toppings. However, everything just in here is very zen-like, very spa, very well thought out. Probably the nicest interior for a 2025 car that I have been in so far. Just love the chrome accents, and there's no like black gloss plastic everywhere. We've got beautiful kind of silver in the middle, some bits of this plastic here. Exude a little bit of ambience at night. I'll put some overlays over this car at night, it's rather beautiful. Now on the interior we do have this new screen setup design. I think this is 27 inches in diameter, but it's two screens. This one's slightly curved. It would not be a Cars of Glasgow video without a glove box reveal. Proud to say this is soft and damp, lined with the fuzzy stuff, and no fuse box in the way, so that is a 10 out of 10 pass for the Cars of Glasgow glove box test. Alright, you join me behind the wheel of the Genesis GV70. Now, let's get the car out in the road for that test drive. Now, I will say, having lived with the car, the handling and steering in this car is nice and light. Like, the steering's assisted. It's not overly light, but it's probably a good 7 out of 10 on the lightness scale, because it is assisted and it makes that daily driving quite easy to live with, you know, not putting too much strain and stress into it. It's definitely not as, I guess, agricultural and heavy as maybe that Isuzu D-Max that we recently drove. Now let's get it up for speed. We do have a sport, eco and normal mode. I'll just put it into sport up to 40 and you're there like almost instantly. That is fast, responsive and nippy. The all-wheel drive system is just putting that power down where required. I will need to put that boost button somewhere else to try it, because this car does have lane acceleration in boost mode. You're going to be buying this car if you want an electric vehicle, maybe you need zero emissions driving for your business, or you want it to be for your home, you want the ability just to be able to charge it at home and not have to visit a petrol station. It's probably the reason you go for it. The powertrain is smooth. It does have regen braking, so you touch the buttons on the back of the pedals. You can have it from 1 all the way to 4, or they call it max with iPedal, which is quite aggressive regen braking when you're slowing down, etc. We do have augmented reality, which is probably the screen that I have left it on, to be honest. A couple of times I've had the map, but the central screen here is quite good for the map. So I just leave that as it is. And when you put in a destination, the augmented reality coupled with the heads-up display means your eyes, you don't know how to take them off the road. It's quite a fun little gimmick, that augmented reality. Like if you stray slightly too close to a line, or maybe you're on a road that's not lined that well, you'll get a big like red wall that comes up to like indicate that you're too far away from the over the line or something like that. It's a bit of fun, a bit of novelty, I guess. You can live without it, but it's definitely a little bit of fun to live with. Now, because this car is part of the Kia and Hyundai group, it does benefit from some of the technology. So we do have a virtual gear shift, or they're calling it VGS, which is similar to what we've seen with the Hyundai Ioniq 5N and the Kia EV6 GT, which means it plays a sound when you're driving. So if I put that on, the car's very quick to try and get over it, but hopefully you can hear that in the background. It plays like a little rev when you're driving along, like a kind of hum of a combustion engine, and you touch of a button and the car goes back into like quiet EV mode. So you've got that option there, but it can trick your brain for a second. Maybe you're driving like a 4-cylinder or a not amazing 6-cylinder, but yeah, it gives you a little bit of feedback. It's a little bit fun, but realistically, this car I have found is wanting to be a luxury car through and through from the front. You know, it doesn't want to be a performance vehicle. It does have performance on tap, a bit like a muscle car in that respect. Like, it's got the power in a straight line, but the handling dynamics are set up for comfort. You know, it's a little bit more soft, a little bit more squishy, coming off like motorway junctions and things like that. It does grip the road decent, but it's not the most solid and planted feeling when you're coming through a bend. And I have had passengers comment on the kind of softness of the ride, feeling a little bit bumpy and uneven, which did surprise me. I haven't felt that myself being the driver, but I had 2 passengers now that have commented in the front seat the ride feels a little bit kind of bouncy when they're out driving. So that's something to make note of. So I just want to say thanks very much for watching this video on the Genesis GV70 Electrified. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel below, comment your thoughts below what you think of the Genesis GV70 Electrified, and if it's something that you would have on your driveway. A special thanks to Genesis UK for having me and loaning me this press car. It has been fun to have it for the week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao.